So the topic this week is luggage transfer services, getting your bags transported for you along the Camino de Santiago. I have no axe to grind on whether people do that or not, but what I'd like to do this week is talk about some of the pros and cons of it, and one downside particularly that you may not have thought about, coming right up. So the topic of luggage transfer services, it's becoming increasingly popular. I mean, I don't have any statistics on it, but certainly anecdotally, I think particularly on the Camino Frances, a lot of people seem to be having their luggage transferred these days. Why do they do that? Well, lots of reasons. They don't particularly want to carry a heavy backpack. Maybe they're not able to because of some sort of physical ability or lack of ability. Maybe a very common reason is that they're going on somewhere after and they want extra clothes or extra gear to take with them, and so they don't want to be carrying that in their backpack all the time. Some people just openly say, oh, I want to make the walk easier. I can carry a little day pack with some water and so on and enjoy the walk more. That's fine. And there's lots of services providing that sort of luggage transfer. Some of the best known ones are, of course, the Spanish Post Office, Correos. So I'll give you a couple of links down below if you're considering using these services, although by the end you might reconsider it. So the Correos, which is the Spanish postal service, they actually provide a service along the more popular Caminos. That's only available in Spain, of course, so if you're walking the Camino Frances from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, which starts in France, you can't get access to the Spanish Post Office, probably till Pamplona. Pat and I have used a very good service based in Saint-Jean called Express Bouricot. Hopefully that's the right way to pronounce it. They're the crowd who provide the sort of shuttle service up and down the mountain. They also provide a luggage service. So if you're turning up to walk your Camino and you've got a bag of stuff that you don't need on the Camino that you might use afterwards, Express Bouricot will transfer that for you all the way to Santiago and store it. Really great service. We've used that. And so I'll add a couple of those links down below. So lots and lots of people are getting their luggage transferred. I certainly did on our first couple of Caminos. On my first one, I used the service a bit because I was quite injured and I literally just could not carry everything. So I used one called Jacotrans, J-A-C-O. I presume you pronounce that Jacotrans. But there's lots more. And Pat needed to use a similar service on her first Camino. Following those, I haven't. So I've got a perspective, from both sides of the camp, if you like. So there's loads of services out there. Some of the reasons that people dislike using luggage transfer services, so I'll highlight just some of the common downsides, and then I'll share what I think is the biggest one. First of all, it makes you pack more. Because you're transferring your luggage, you think, oh, no problem, I don't have to carry it, and you end up taking too much stuff. There's the additional cost, of course. I think it's €5 to €7 each stage these days, but in the overall scheme of things, that may not be a huge cost. I think one of the biggest downsides for me is the lack of flexibility, in that you have to book it the night before, and so you need to know where you're walking to the night before and have a booking, or at least know where you're going. And you need to know that the place that you're staying in will receive luggage. So some albergues don't receive suitcases and transported luggage anymore. So that's a slight downside. But I think one of the biggest downsides for me is the lack of flexibility. I've got to know where I'm walking tomorrow. So there's some common sort of downsides. The main one, though, and this has maybe taken me a little bit of time to realise, particularly since walking my last Camino, which if you've been following the channel, you'll know was from Seville up to Astorga and then west to Santiago and out to Finisterre. It was quite a long Camino, almost 1,200 kilometres. There was no luggage transfer service. I mean, I prefer not to use them now anyway, but there wasn't any, so I really had to focus on packing light and being able to carry all my gear with me. So it really made me pack light. and I didn't have a problem at all. So what did I learn from that experience? A couple of things. There's the element of flexibility and freedom that it gives you. Just being able to walk to where you want, stop where you want, not have to worry about that extra component of logistics, having to book your luggage transfer, not having to book ahead, having that flexibility, you know, partway through the day to say, wow, this is a really great place and there's a nice albergue, let's stop here. So all of that flexibility. But you know, the biggest lesson, if you like, and I think the biggest disadvantage with pack transport, this is the one I wanted to share. It's the lesson that it teaches you. And I have found, and Pat is finding now, preparing for our next Camino, she's ultra focused on the weight of her pack and what she's going to carry. What you learn by carrying your own pack is how little you need. And, you know, by way of illustration, Pat's backpack for our next Camino will be walking, I don't know, 30 days maybe. It's just over 4 kilos. So if you're worried about the weight that you're going to be carrying, I grabbed out of our pantry a little 1 kilo bag of rice. You're going to be carrying 4 of these. Even if you're carrying a day pack, it's going to be a couple of kilos. And if you pack very sensibly and very lightly, you might only be carrying, you know, like 4 kilos of rice, which is nothing. My pack, when I'm walking, I try to get it down to about 6.5 now. And the big lesson I think that it teaches you is that you need very little. The lesson for me is a big light bulb moment in letting go of your fears of, oh, what if I'm too hot? What if I'm too cold? What if I need this? Just that sort of minimalist approach, and having faith in you being able to survive, if you like, survive. I mean, we're staying in accommodation every night, but you know what I mean. That you'll be perfectly comfortable traveling with very little. And I think what it does, it really teaches us that we don't need to go through life surrounded by stuff, and we don't need lots of stuff to make us happy, to make us comfortable. So I think that's the biggest downside to luggage transfer that I've experienced over the few Caminos I've walked. Now, just to illustrate that, I mean, I talk about, you know, Pat's pack is like 4 little bags of rice. What I'll do down below in the description, I'll share our packing lists for our next Camino. So you can just click on the links and have a look. Mine is, I think, 6.5 kilos. And it's a little bit more than I would like because I've got some of Pat's stuff in there and I've managed to get hers down to 4.5. So just have a look at the packing list and see how possible it is to travel light. And look, we do not travel light. I've met people on longer Caminos who've had far less stuff than I carry. I actually carry some of my fears, you know, I'll put my hand up and admit that. I carry more than I need to carry. If you have a look at that packing list, I've got a foam roller, physio roller. I've got knee straps, all sorts of medications. I could probably cut another kilo quite easily, but I've hit that fine balance. I'm comfortable with 6.5 kilos. If I went to 5.5, there's some stuff there that I might well need along the way. So that's that sort of tipping point, fine balance. I'm amazed that Pat's got hers down to 4.5. That's really good, which is great because she won't have any problems walking. She's not going to get knee pain or foot pain this time. She's carrying a lot less. And we have to carry it because where we're going, there is no pack transport. So there we go. Just to sort of summarise all of that, if you feel the need to use pack transport, I just suggest, you know, reconsider that. What are the reasons that you want to do it? Is it because you need stuff at the end when you get to Santiago? Mail it ahead. You know, is it because of your physical ability? Well, you know, nothing you can do about that if you physically cannot carry a backpack. But I'd encourage you to have a look at what you're taking and pack really light. Have a look at our packing lists. And if you get the chance, try it by carrying all your own gear and just get that sense of freedom, being totally untethered and realizing that you can make this journey with very, very little on your back. You know, a change of clothes, we wear one, pack one, you know, just 2 sets of clothes, something in case it rains, something to sleep in, sleeping bag. We don't have sleeping clothes, we sleep in our walking clothes. So just consider it. If you think that, oh no, that's how you walk a Camino, you do it with luggage transfers. Lots of people do, but there's an alternative, and have a think about that. If you've tried luggage transfer, do comment down below and tell us why you think it's great. If you've tried with and without, love to hear your comments. If you carry all your stuff and you don't like the idea of luggage transfers, let us know why. As always, I'm just sharing my thoughts to help you plan and enjoy your Camino. So thanks for watching, and particularly those who commented on my video last week, I thank you very much for all of your supportive comments. That was really great to see, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.